but not working. That's the main part. I hope you weren't working at a job.
Not like me.
And if you did, I hope it's for building some kind of capital to do an FDMO or something. Ryan, would you log into YouTube
Yep. I'm gonna grab my
just to
headset
see if
too.
there's questions? Man, I'm excited today. I am really good, Mr. Zindine. Zindine, great name. Portugal. Who else we got? London. Anyone else from Europe? Anyone else from anywhere but United States? Canada. That's your boy. We just played. Tom McDonald, great artist. He gets me pumped before the stream now. All right, all right. Quebec. I have some advices. Yes, you can go to Mike Azevedo's YouTube channel, Pips and Profits. You could go. He's got some amazing intro videos. They're long, but they're really good. You can go to Pips of Persia. That's the guy is an educator. He does amazing Wyckoff for beginners. And after that, you can read Ruben Villarmosa's book, Advanced Wyckoff Technical Analysis, and the other one, his second book. Mozambique, man. Okay, everyone who is here, I appreciate you, regardless from where you're from, especially if you're from somewhere that it's like 11:30 or something, or later at night. You can be a lot of places, so I appreciate you guys coming here, giving us a chance to show you some stuff. So as always, first things first, if you want to be our friends and send us letters or want to ask a question or anything, just say hi or join our squad, do whatever you want. These are on the screen. I need to share my screen again. Our Instagram tags, you can tag us there, message us there, message us on Discord. We'll usually respond pretty fast. Um, you know, uh, we've been where you are probably, regardless of where you are in your journey. So, um, you know, I would love to have more friends and following. So that's that. Second thing, obviously, everything you see here is just our opinion, our overview of the market. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't we don't control the market, so this is how we trade. No bullshit here. So with that said, just wanted to remind everyone to be humble and stop flexing. If you are one of the people that flexes on Instagram, we're not going to be friends. There's no point. It doesn't help anyone else. So we're in this business to help our family or to have a better life. So, you showing off to someone who doesn't have it, other than like, once in a while, like you shouldn't be, you can show the setup, but like the actual money amounts, nobody gives a crap. Honestly, that's just me being honest. Nobody gives a crap how much you make. Because for everyone who makes 1 million, somebody makes 10 million and 100 million and a billion. So nobody cares. Anyway, let's show some setups. Ryan, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go over some stuff that happened last week before we go?
Yeah, I could
Before
jump in.
we go
I
into
could jump in first, just because that way I can get out of the way just in case, right?
yeah. Melbourne, Australia. What's up? Yeah, Zine. Look. If you want to talk, let's talk. All right, cool. Right, Ryan. You can share the screen, I believe.
Okay. Sounds good. And also, any questions you guys have, please
Oh
put them
yeah.
in the Q&A. Comments go in the chat, but questions go in the Q&A. It just makes it easier so we don't lose them, because
Yeah, everybody can see. Any questions is a fair game. If you're brand new or if you're a seasoned trader, doesn't matter. If you have any questions of any type, we'll try to answer the best of our ability.
Can you allow me to share my screen, sir?
Uh, Hang on. How do I do that?
Go to the
Oh yeah,
share
all
screen.
panelists. No,
Yeah.
I think it should be good. Yep.
Okay. There we go. Everybody can see what I'm doing. Is everything?
Andrew
Okay.
Azevedo. Are you related to Mike Azevedo, brother? You have Andrew. Is he Andrew? Are you Mike's son? Nice.
Oh, okay, 1 second
Brother.
here. Get back to the.
Older or younger? That's awesome, man. Man, you can learn from your brother, man. He's one of the goats. Welcome,
Okay.
welcome. Let's see here. Go ahead.
All good. So there's a little bit about how I got into this and how I was going to be on the bearish side of this. To begin with, we have obviously been bearish for the dollar for a long period of time. I actually took the original trade last Wednesday, and I just continued to stack entries as Thursday, Friday, and even today. I took another sell entry, so basically 4 entries. How I essentially got there was, I mean, just simply looking at the DXY. You can tell a 6-year-old that this is bearish with overall structure. I mean, we're just continuing to drop down. There's plenty of targets to the downside. So I was going to continue being bearish no matter what until it told me otherwise. Also, to take another further look at this, we got CXY, which is the Canadian index. And I drew this vertical line here because that is essentially when the news came out on Wednesday. And the news I'm talking about, I'll go over here in a second, and I'm going to speed through it because I don't want to bore you guys. But that was the reaction after the news. So the simple news that was happening on Wednesday, Bank of Canada statement came out, a consumer price index, which is nothing more than what you're going to pay. Any inflation, that's basically a microcosm to inflation. So naturally, the currency is going to be in more demand because it's going to go up. Also, crude oil inventories in America came down lower than normal. 22% of Canada's economy is based on oil. So therefore, the demand is going to be higher seasonality-wise because people are now being, the restrictions are being lifted from COVID and they're going to be traveling more. Therefore, the demand of oil is going to be more. And then also, so you have less supply. That means oil is going to cost more. So therefore, that's going to be a good influx of money into the Canadian economy. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. And also, unemployment claims came out on Thursday to further that because they were less than expected for the U.S. dollar. So slightly negative news for the dollar, very positive for Canada. So getting into that, we got the UCAD. So back, what I was looking for before this was essentially the mitigation out of this all the way to the left. We did have we had to have one push into it, but we didn't mitigate the entire thing. This could actually be, if we zoom in on the lower time frame, you'll see it. It's a last up candle before down movement that basically caused all of this. This is where we got bearish. This is the beginning of the breaker, and the source was all the way up in here. So I guess I can drop down. I think it's actually on the 5-minute possibly. Get into there, all the way over, moving forward. And this is part of the bias. Can I get into it? Is it going to let me go far enough? Okay, it's actually on the 1 minute. All right, well, it probably won't let me go that far. But anyway, it's on the 1 minute. It's the last.
Could rewind and place the cursor there and then go to 1 minute.
There you go.
And see.
Let's just see here. The one. Yeah, I don't think it's going to let me, will it? Or do we have? Yeah, that's the volume. Nope, it won't let me give me enough room. Damn it. Well, anyway, what it was, and I'll show you an example what it would look like. Essentially, it was a last move. It looked very similar to something like this. Oops, let me zoom in. Where we had the last move up and a strong push down, leaving an imbalance. Okay. But it was on the 1 minute, and it was a pretty violent push within a broke structure. Okay, so I was looking for us to get back there, and if that happened before we went bearish, I was going to be really I was going to be, the bias was going to shift even more bearish than not, because if this wanted to be bullish at this point, it would have broke structure and then we would have pushed forward. But it came to the mitigation and dropped off the table with the news. And so then I was looking at this area right in here. Okay. This is the push that started this bullishness. Okay. And that order block here, last down push before up movement, was totally disrespected. Therefore, I knew that orders were going to be sitting there. Okay. So if the orders weren't actually activated, they're going to have to come back to that place again. And 9 times out of 10, when you have something like this, especially when you have something that violent, even breaking structure here, we're going to have a pullback into there. And that's where you can get into your first entry.
10 times out of 10.
Okay, 10 times out of 10. So I was waiting for that for about a few hours. Okay, we came up in there and I just pulled the trigger. I got really excited about this when we had this nice push off. If I would have missed that entry right there, I could have definitely got in. Let's just get rid of this. We don't need that. Okay, I could have definitely got into the push up into here. Okay. Break and come back in the mitigation of this candle, but I did not. I did not get that one. And then the next day, we broke structure again, and we came up, and I was looking at the source of this leg right here is right here. Okay, up push before down movement, leaving the imbalance. Those are the order blocks that Yuri loves to talk about. And it came right up into our zone. We had a little bit of drawdown, but if you put your stop loss above where structure is, you're just fine. And we dropped off again. Okay, we broke structure again. Okay, same kind of scenario. This is a little kissing candle right here in between that you could have got in on right here. I wasn't around then. That's 1 in the morning. That was right before London opened, so I didn't take that trade. However, we continued breaking structure to the downside, and we had another scenario right here where we broke structure to the downside. I'm going to get rid of this so we can see it better. Let's see, can I? It's going to let me. There we go. Okay. So last up push before down movement, breaking structure here, confirming another bearish push. So when we came back up in there, market execution right off the base of this candle right here. And then we fell off the table again. Okay. So as we kept breaking structure, my take profit essentially was right here in that between this yellow line and this yellow line. And the reason was, if we go all the way to the left, that was the beginning of this bullish move. The same scenario that looked like this, but it was just down here. So that's where I took my profit. I actually took an aggressive trade today on the 1 minute time frame, just because I was in. It's basically a healthy hedge, and we just basically let's get off the auto here. We had the first time in the whole push down. We had yeah, we'll get rid of that. There's my 2-to-1 stack there. Let's get rid of here because that's the twin trade scenario. We finally had a break of structure on the 1 minute. Aggressive entry could have been right here, and that's where I took it. Okay. If I would have missed this, there was another opportunity. I could have got in right here, and this is maybe 10 minutes later, because we pushed up, leaving a up candle before down. You could have got in on any of this right here, stacking your entry on the 1 minute, and you would have been in somewhat nice bit of profit there. But essentially, I knew we were going to have a reaction out of here, and as it did, we fell off the table. So I actually moved the stop loss to break even. We'll see if it breaks again and comes back up. I'll take another sell to push the downside structure, because we haven't showed any bullishness in a long time on the US dollar. So there you go. In a nutshell.
All right, Ryan. I need to do some quality work on your charts, though, because if you weren't talking through it, there was no way I would have gotten all that. That was Your charts
Well,
are very hard to see.
well, I know everything on here though means something to me, but that's why I can walk them through. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah.
Another little thing is uh it's an
Oh,
order flow breaks, not really true structure, but it's
it's
uh
internal structure. That's all
internal
it is.
structure.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So that was very good. The good thing about this is you don't need to trade um 700 different pairs. You can just stick with one pair and keep stacking it like you did, and have a profitable Monday or Friday, whatever. Um, so right, I want to show a couple of trades, and then we can go into market overview because there's some juicy setups coming up that I really want to talk about. So the first, real fast, gold, which is I like pornography. This is gold pornography. All right, so Friday, um, we have created, I think I was trading on the 5 minute. It was a very beautiful Wyckoff for the person who asked about Wyckoff as well. You would like this. So Monday, we got down into this area and started consolidating. You can see how I marked up the stuff. So we had the spring and then the internal break of structure test. You could have gotten in here. I didn't because I was probably trading something else. Then we finally broke the range and we came back. This is exactly where I took the first trade. Come back into the range, did a fractal accumulation as well. Came back here, did the same thing again, accumulation, come back in the range, took another trade, came over here. We did what I thought was the distribution. I marked this up as UT, but then we started doing this. So I actually took a loss because I thought this was the shakeout, um, which it was kind of, but I thought it was a shakeout. And I tried to take it here, but just simply wicked me off and then came back. And then Friday, this was kind of interesting because I marked out my house. My house was standing over here and it missed me by like, I don't know, 2 pips or something. But I just looked at it today, just now, and I saw that we came into my house area, which I already took it out because I thought it's not gonna come back here. But yeah, that was gold. A bunch of trades, really, 2 trades, wins and 1 loss over here, and a miss over here. So this was, if you look at what's happening next, as I said before, daily. Oh, one thing to note for everyone who's taking notes is do not look at DXY in order to determine the gold direction. I keep saying this almost every stream that DXY, if you look the composition of DXY, you're not going to see gold in there. So why are you looking at DXY to determine gold? Doesn't make any sense. So there's nothing about dollar except for unless there's like FOMC news going on. Gold is not gonna care about dollar as much. Um, so if you look at structured little legs, like Mike likes to point out, you can see that we're just walking the price down, and we did not grab any liquidity here. It's still intact. This whole thing, I don't want to turn this on too much, but basically there's all the way the target is here. And I wanted to come back to 1500 level right here. But I think what's going on right now is DXY is retracing to the bullish order block. So what need that DXY? I just said don't look at it. What I'm saying is gold is going to come over here, just like it did to this extreme. Gold loves extremes. I've been backtesting it for 4 months nonstop. and it loves extremes all the time, like every single time. So I'm almost 100% positive we're going to take all of this liquidity out and come into an IFC. I have the biggest house I've ever put over here in this area. See that green line over there? So like half of this wick. If you go to a smaller time frame, you'll be able to see that. Yeah, I'll get to the question in a second. I see someone said something. Come on, TradingView. Yep, you can even on 4-hour, you can see this candle that gets engulfed with imbalance or last up candle before down move, whatever. But if you go all the way to 5 minutes, you'll get some confluence. I'm gonna hide this for a second because I want to erase it. The extreme of the lag. You see this? That little white candle over here? This black candle over here? And there's a little imbalance between this doji and this candle. So 1956.30, 1957.90. You can expect Yuri to put about 11 to 20 lots on this. That's a 200 grand day. So that's where I'll be waiting. So until then, I'm looking only for buys. So I'm looking for accumulations going forward. And to me, hang on. To me, this whole thing is one big giant accumulation. It would be nice if we drop and can get an entry again over here. But if not, you know, no sweat. I'll see what London does. And we'll be looking. The only way I'll get into this is if we have a schematic. Why, Yuri? But why? It looks like it broke structure. No, it didn't. This is the low. This is the high. This is a complex pullback. This is a bunch of crap. Until we break this, even on 1 hour, we are still bullish. When it comes to daily and 4-hour, we're definitely super bullish. We're just walking the price up now to that extreme. All right, what's up? Question. Gold definitely. Oh yeah, for sure. It loves extremes for sure. That's why this 5-minute, like from this, I would definitely love to see the price go to right here, this little candle here before that one. Yeah, that's your slingshot candle kind of thing. But we haven't broken this, though. I would like for it to break this, then come back and try to get an entry from over here. All right, next is GJ. Man, I hate GJ. I don't hate GJ. I actually love GJ, but after last week, I'm mad because I missed an entry. So yeah, GJ, we were looking for this, and where I was looking at extreme, I think what happened was, or no, maybe I was looking, hang on, let me see. Yeah, I was looking at extreme here, and then it like didn't, or I got in, came back, and then hit me at stop profit, and then here it wicked me out. I got back in, it gave me a little bit of profit, and then I missed the best entry because I didn't wake up on time. But oh well, and Friday, yeah, I didn't think much is gonna happen. Anyway, so this was a very ugly, ugly, ugly accumulation right here. So now we're making our way up, and come on, TradingView, you can do it. Now, this is really important, guys. So look, how can you use divergence as an extra confirmation? So I want you to look at something. This is what I was looking at today, but even last week. So if you look at relative location of this, this is the low that created the high, right? Right, this is the low that created this high. Okay, this was the accumulation right here, right? And then we pretty much did an accumulation here, then came up and then took it down to what I think is just a very nasty way to do the spring. And where did we spring to? Perfect order block right here in the previous accumulation. But at the same time, what happened here is that already came to this previous accumulation, actually kind of pierced through it a little bit, took liquidity, and then over here, if you can see, if we go lower low, lower low, lower low, and here was, I'm gonna erase everything so you can see, here was lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, right? Whereas what happened here? Lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low. This right here is accumulation, right? You can say continuation from this accumulation, break the range, come back to test, come back here, create a creek, whatever you want to say. Here's another accumulation though, right? And then you could have gotten in on GU 2 weeks ago over here perfectly in this order block and accumulation and divergence with GJ. Just like easiest entry here, and then Friday it was over. But then what do you see now? Continuing to diverge. So this is like divergence on already probably 8 hours. We continue to diverge. So last week you could have entered here on GU. So let me bring up GU. Come on. You could have gotten in over here on the divergence between GJ and GU here, and then continue in doing that. Look at that. Look at today. Even 1 hour, I can see. Like perfectly mitigating here. We could still come lower. So what do we do with this long term? Q&A. So this, we look to sell GJ because of bearish divergence. Now it's a bullish divergence, brother. It's a bullish divergence, and you look to buy GU, not GJ. With divergence, you always take the leader, or aka the pair that's mitigating. So while GJ was doing this, right, I'll show. Right, so if GU is doing this and GJ is doing this, while we're coming from here on a downtrend, making lower lows, or I should say bearish order flow, not downtrend, right? And then this one is making a bullish divergence. And if you look at overall structure, this here is the lag up. That is mitigation, and lag down, we don't know yet if that's the bottom, but this is what it's looking like. So we're still bullish until we break this point. And because we're still bullish, you want to look for bullish divergences because we expect a higher high to form somewhere here on the higher time frame. So this is perfect. Perfect entry here. So yeah, you don't want to look for GJ cells, definitely not. So now, following the flow, it would be really nice. This is what I marked up. It would be really nice if we could come into this order block here. Because it's a slingshot candle, of course, we require another schematic for sure, right? So I would like for it to come in into this candle right here, and then you can do whatever your entry criteria. I'll tell you mine in a second, but you can do what Mike does, 50%, 80% of this candle, right? You can get in, you can look for schematic, whatever. Or I would like for it to first come higher, grab this high, get into the order block over there. I think it was 5 minutes. Again, this is distribution, redistribution. So this here sounds like a plan to me right here. There's one. Yep, that's the one I see. This is where they're hiding. So for it to take these highs before coming down lower, before coming down into this IFC to finally come back. That would make sense to me. Of course, today after London, which I sleep through, we barely did anything. But that's, happens sometimes. This Monday. All right, so GA was the best trade of mine today because it literally followed everything I said it's gonna do. And that is, I was looking at this, and this is just perfect. Once again, if you look at what happened big picture, we are still bullish, right? Here's your low of the lag that made the high, came here, right? Mitigated out of this, did not break the high, unfortunately, but this was the accumulation here with the spring, and it came back down and touched. What's an order block? For those who know me, I always say the order block is the last candle that gets engulfed in the balance. Check this out. You see this little black doji? Guess what? We came right there. Perfectly into it. Perfectly into the middle of this doji. That's where I put the house, right? So I was actually trading live with the guy in the morning, and I told him that's going to happen to the granular detail of 5 minutes. So the other confirmation, I'll repeat that, Tyler, in a second. The other confirmation is divergence. Again, if you look at GBP and ZD, this was the best setup, even though not the most move. If you look at what GBP and ZD was doing on the 4-hour at the same time, look. So on here's divergence. Yay. So this one, why did I forgot what I was gonna say. So this one made a higher high here, and then it made a lower low, but actually it didn't make a lower low. When it came here, it created equal lows. So what that meant was, look, this one already took liquidity. You see this shenanigans? That one came and slammed through this liquidity and grabbed it. That's why my penguin is with the bottle, right? So it came already to mitigate out of this order block. On this side, this order block is lower. And more importantly, the order block that's very visible is underneath even that liquidity over here, which means that this one relatively to this point is higher. So if you're going to be buying, you should be buying this, because that one is needed to take this liquidity still, where this one already took. So that's why I drew this line ahead of time, because I was expecting it to diverge. Well, this one is making a lower low. This one will be making a higher low, mitigating out of this accumulation, accumulating itself and going higher. That's why GA for me was a buy, whereas GN isn't ready yet. So let's talk about how the entry criteria real fast. So that was the only trade I took today. And then it was so slow that I wanted to die. But I took several trades on all on GA today, nothing else. So, because I usually don't trade Monday anyway. So this is the criteria real fast. First step, you mark out your structural legs on daily and 4 hour. Second step, mark out your PIs on 1 hour. Step 3, 15 minute, 5 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute. Watch for order flow, find refined order blocks, and entry on the shift of the order flow. If you can find diverges and you're very good with Wyckoff, those are extra confirmations. That's my criteria and how I trade. A little bit different from Mike because he is the master of schematics. I'm not there yet, but I'm doing really good. But I found out that if you understand structure really good and understand how to refine your order blocks and understand divergence, then you will be good at Wyckoff. If you start here, you're going to fail every time because you're going to be confusing the distribution with reaccumulation and stuff all the time because you don't understand structure and the basics. So that's the criteria. Order block, right? So order block, what it is the last candle. That's a true order block. It's not the last down candle before up move or up move before down move. It's the last candle that is getting engulfed, right? Last candle that is getting engulfed with the engulfing candle having an imbalance. So it doesn't matter the color either, right? So I can do it on every time frame, but if you learn from just basics of smart money, they'll say, okay, it's this down candle before the up move, but then you get into questioning yourself whether it's going to come to the middle of balance or to the wick or to the entry or to the middle or whatever. 50-80%, all this stuff is not true. What's true is this right here is the last candle, this white candle, that is getting engulfed by this white candle, and there's imbalance in this white candle, and that happens. So it came to this white candle. So, and it's on a granular level, you can see how accurate that is in cases like this, right? So this black candle here gets engulfed with this candle, and there's imbalance in this white candle between these two wicks. Right now, you could say, okay, well, it could have come here. Yes, it could. But this is the first one, the last one that the price didn't come to yet. So you bet you're gonna have a reaction. As far as what Ryan was showing, by the way, if you have an order block that gets disrespected, 100% of the time, it's gonna come down from the other side to retest it. Okay. So in this case, we'll look to, okay, yeah. What do we got? Eli, nice one, nice one. Gold definitely there. Can you do a quick top down and mark out your legs? Yes, of course. Do you have a preference on which pair? Because it doesn't matter to me. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Let's go to AU so I can talk about that one. Now AU is it was tricky because one of the people in my squad. All right, we'll do EJ after that. Okay. One of the people in my squad, I'll do EJ top down for you. But he marked out this as a sell, and I told him nope. But Yuri, it's the high that led to the break of the structure. And look, it's Wyckoff. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 drives, break a structure. Why aren't you telling him to sell from here? It's a perfect sell. Because higher structure. And what I see on higher structure. So you always have to think about what is the rest of the world doing, right? So if you look at this picture here, I'm gonna just erase everything real fast, right? If you look at this picture, what happened here is people were selling from this so-called resistance, normally called supply, right? And then we had this FU thing, and then we came down. Okay. So what they say is that this was a fake out, right? And this is still a strong resistance. Now, if you were a seller at resistance as a retail person, where does your stop loss go? Where do you put your stop loss? Answer, you put them at the previous swing high, which is right here, right here, right here. So why would I want to sell in this order block here if this is all liquidity, if most of the world is selling here? And when there is one imbalance, two imbalance, ginormous, and the extreme that is all the way over here. So that's why I told them, even though you're going to have a small reaction or something, this is not going to hold. It could. I don't control the market. I know. Just to me, I said, be careful. Be careful because that is not a high probability trade. If you want to prove it with something like this, called the Fibonacci, you know for sure that we're bearish because this low to this high, now we broke the lag. On the 4-hour, we are bearish. But what's maintaining bearishness is this, right? And what are the fibs? Okay, well, we already came to middle of 50 and 61. As I always said, if you look at, doesn't matter who teaches you what, we got 71, we got 80, and we got the extreme. If you look, I don't use fibs, but I'm just saying there's some confluences in those fibs. One, we have a 79 level, 79.5 level, and 8,000 level. This is where my house is. That is where my house is because I'm risking like 3 pips here. I can get 50 lots there. So I would wait for it to, I would actually try to get in a buy somewhere. And of course, if we break this high, which we should, if we break this high, then I'll be looking to do what? To get in at last candle that got engulfed with a bounce, which is right here. I'd look for a buy here if we break this structure, right? If we happen to break this and turn into a creek, I'd be looking for a shakeout and come back to the creek. And my guess is it will come somewhere here to this accumulation area here that never got really tested. So that's possible as well, but just the way the things are, it's possible. I just don't think it's a probable trade. So what you want to do, as I said, step 3 is watch for order flow shift. So that's what you should be doing. If I can show that if somebody doesn't know how to do it, I'll be showing that to my team tomorrow. For those who don't know, but essentially you want the boof, as Mike would say, you want the boof to happen. So you got And the boof, obviously, so let's say this, let me see. Unless there's a schematic, I don't think there's a good example here. There's a good example here. So that's a good example here. This order block leads to this. Then we finally break it over here. That order block is gone. Once we break it, we identify the areas at which it could turn around and you could sell. This is a very terrible example just because, oh, we're on 4 hour. That would make sense. What I meant to say is once you identify the area of like potential turnaround, let's say you have your POI. So let me go to GA example today. So I identified the POI as this last candle here. You can see it really nice. That's what took liquidity here, right? So I identified this POI. So then I said, I'm gonna watch on 5 minutes what the order flow does. And so I'm still watching it technically, but I got in on a sell over here because that was the last order block here. If this was broken here, I would have tried to get in, but I didn't. It got to my POI here. So when this is broken over here, on this last candle that led to this low gets broken, I will see in this lag where the order block is, so I can get in a buy. But it doesn't look like it, it looks like it's still holding. Also, it's the time of the day is showing us the schematic, which is perfect because I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to be waiting at my extreme in there. I'm going to be waiting in there. It hasn't quite gotten there. It's 1.760, 5.7760. Right here, that's where I'm kind of waiting. So this is showing me perfect schematic right now. Right, I want the STB, possibly break the range. I want the spring, whatever it can give me. So we're watching price action very closely. And the best thing I think would happen is if GA comes here and GN falls off the planet, so we can have that divergence be extended. And then I can definitely put a house on here. Okay, EJ. What do you mean house? Okay, one at a time. What do you mean house? House means just a giant lot. So the smaller the stop loss, the bigger the lot, right? So let's say you're, I don't know, you're trying to pass FTMO, you're trading with 100 grand, right? So let's say you risk a 0.5%. 0.5% on a 100 grand is $500. So $500, and let's say you're, I don't know, you're trading and your stop loss is 20 pips, right? So 20 pips is about 2.5 lots. 2.5 lots, 20 pips is $500, right? 450. But let's say 2.75. But if you only have, no, that's right. 2.5 lots on 20 pips on EU is $500. So you're going 2.5 lots on and risking 20 pips. Now, what if you only risk 5 pips? Well, if you risk 5 pips, it's 10 lots. It's the same $500, but you're putting 10 lots. But if you target profit is 100 pips, 10 lots is 10 grand, right? So you're risking same $500, 10 grand, because you're putting 10 lots. That's a house for a person who trades a 100 grand account. Of course, if you're risking 2.5 pips, that's 20 lots. So that's what I mean by a house. It's the big amount for me because I'm only risking this many pips, but my risk remains the same. I hope that answered your question, Mr. Anonymous. What's a creek again? Yep, sell your house and put it on AU. Exactly, Brady. Don't sell your house, man. Please don't sell your house, unless it's a tool shed. Maybe you can. Oh, if there's multiple engulf can. No. So I didn't say just any engulf candles. I said it's the last candle that gets engulfed, not mitigated, that gets engulfed with imbalance in your point of interest, and typically in the extreme. Ingi, the creek is an area that looks like a creek. So let me show you.
It's a slow pullback.
Yeah. So
almost 45
let's
degrees.
say if you here in, I'll show you real fast. So it's the range, basically, when the market is coming down in a range like a wedge, right? If it comes in a range like this, all of a sudden it does the little shakeout, and then it jumps over the creek, meaning it breaks the range to the top and comes back to the creek. So that is jump over the creek, because the creek is essentially that wedge that's coming down within structure. So
shift between phase B and phase C.
So
sorry to go for a while.
Show you the schematic.
I had a couple patients. Sorry.
You're good. We've been chatting. All right. So here's the accumulations. If you go in our Discord, Ingi, and go look for this guy Roxana in PDF links, you'll see the reaccumulation schematics, right? So you see how the creek can be like this, but most common one is like that, is like this. So in reality, what it would look like is when you're coming up, so you had this reaccumulation. See how on G you had reaccumulation, then you come back, and then you have the creek and the giant jump, and then come back. Let me see if EU was my next one that I was going to go over. Oh, actually, I have a million of them on my gold. So I'm sure we can find a creek here. Hey, creeks. I just want to give you like the perfect example. Yep, look at that. So whenever this was, we had the accumulation, right? And then we had this, what looked to be like maybe distribution, and then it turned into, you see how the market is slowly going in this sort of like a wedge, and then we jump, and then we come back to the shakeout, in this case, this test. So it's the way you identify the creek is when you have a failed distribution. So you kind of need to know distribution to know reaccumulation. So, because that's what it is, a failed distribution. The same thing I think about AU. Where the hell is AU? So on AU, on tomorrow, maybe. Yeah, no, 1 hour. Okay, so this right here was supposed to be distribution, as I already talked, right? And it even broke the range here, but then we stopped, right? And now we're about to take this high probably, and I almost guarantee you this is what you're gonna see. It might be here. So once the jump happens, you know, 9 out of 10 times it's gonna come back to the creek or to test the area and then go up. So you have a pullback. Remember I told you about the complex pullback? So it's like this. And that's your creek. Okay. Let's see what else we got. EURUSD. Oh, EURJPY. Somebody asked me. I forgot. Sorry, guys. EURJPY. Somebody asked me for EURJPY. Man, I'm starting to hate EURJPY just because it's been so choppy. Here's the creek.
There you go.
Messy, messy, messy. All right, daily. Let's go, because I thought you said structure. So identify the legs, right? So on daily for me, this is your leg. And we never really had a retracement. It's all one leg for me on daily, to be honest. So like until we break this, we're still bullish overall on daily. That's a lag. That's a
Like they tried
lag.
in January, but
That's a
didn't
lag.
get one.
Yeah. So that's your daily legs. Okay. With legs, you just gotta understand. To me, and this is where I differ with Mike a little bit as well. What's going on? Oh, yeah, I'm done with these. With Mike, we disagree a little bit because he says 38% is enough. Usually for me it's 50%, but this is good enough because I can see I can see the failed distribution and reaccumulation over here. So this is long enough for me, far enough for me to see that this is the leg, right? So honestly, it's going to repeat itself and do the same thing. But okay, so right now we're bearish on EJ on daily. Okay, 4 hour. 4 hour, the lags for me is this, right? The lag is actually here. This is daily, but we're also bullish on the 4 hour. So on 4 hour, this is the lag. And as far as your question, somebody asked, starts with a T. How do I pick my order blocks for, how do I know which engulfing candle is the true order block? Well, look, right? So again, you look at what's going on in the market. Here's your supply and demand area, right? This is what retail people do. They mark out support resistance. Okay, so here, if you look at the legs again, this leg started with accumulation. Okay, this leg started with accumulation. Now, to me, there are certain things obvious. Whenever I see the wick like this, I feel like people put stop losses underneath that. But whenever you see a thing like this, I know this is a very high probable area. That's your slingshot candle right there. Because this, look at the size of the candles that came from this little thingy. And to me, this little thingy was the mitigation from this area because this is how long it took the institutions to get in. By the way, Something you might guys not know, might want to write this down. The longer the accumulation, the higher the explosion. See the lengths of this accumulation? Let's flip it. I don't know how to flip it. How much is that? 20. Is there like a rotate tool? Anyways, it's somewhere around this explosion from this accumulation is about the same length. So this length and from the top to here, it's about the same length. So when you have this length, it's about equal this length. The longer you accumulate, that's how high you're going to go, typically. So you have this accumulation and a reaction. Yes, we did come back to support resistance, but this is a last candle here that gets engulfed with the balance. For me, it's this one. Of course, if you go down to 1 hour, 5 minutes, you can refine and see if you have confluence and all that stuff. But we right now just looking structure, right? So mark out your legs on 4 hour. Like I said, that's the first step. So that to me is the low that led to the high. Has this high been broken? No. Can I get in the buy here? No. But this high has been broken. So take your fibs. Look at here. We bounced off 50%. Big surprise. Supply and demand. Great. Fair value. Where is 78, 78? 78 and 80 level. Oh my God, 80%. Right at this order block. Perfect. Got some confluence. So if I'm looking to buy long term, I'm going to be looking in this area. 128.80 level. Pretty cool. Lots of confluence is the way, I don't know how people trade, but that's how I trade. Go to 1 hour. I see a bunch of garbage because it's EJ. It's what you're going to see. A bunch of garbage. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, almost 4 weeks in the same damn range. Now, guess what? What I say, the longer the range, the bigger the explosion. So there's a very, very good chance that we might just go up from here and not even care about lows over here. So one only thing about this is if we break this high, then this is your lag. If we don't break this high, I'll be looking to get in here. Slingshot candle though, now that we're at 1 hour, means I need a schematic just like Mike over here. Is it possible that we're going to just come over here to this order block, last candle again engulfed with imbalance? Absolutely. However, I have a rule that I don't get in on these type of stuff when there is all these equal lows underneath. It could still work out. It's just too dangerous for me because I consider it a trap. Because everybody who trades smart money sees this imbalance and kind of things. So to me, all of these dips here, buy on the dip, is what sucked in buyers. So I think if it does decide to come down, it's just going to annihilate all of that until the previous accumulation area. So to me, the best case scenario for EJ, like I said, 1 hour, mark out your POIs, right? 4 hour, mark out your legs. 1 hour, mark out your POIs. That's my POI on the bottom side. Of course, if we see a nice schematic in here, you could take it, but to me, the only way I would take anything from here is if I see this. All right, so what do we do now? What we do now is wait for price to either break this high and then try to get an entry here or here, or when it comes down this way, you switch to 5 minutes. Once it hits your square, the POI, and you start watching for order flow shift. So like another example for order flow shift, let's say you were marking out this as your POI. This breaks that low here. This order block leads to this, right? The boof, right? Mitigations, mitigations, mitigations. That one's still intact. That one's still intact. That one's still intact. That's the last one that's intact, right? We mitigated, mitigated, mitigated. Now it becomes liquidity. It gets broken in one time here. So now we need to find an entry in this area here, in this line. So how you find an entry? Ryan, you trying to entertain me? How you find an entry is once again up to you. But I mean, you can see a lot of things. You can consider this Wyckoff. Here's where I would try to enter, would be here. Right there, once that is broken, right? Now I want, this looks very, very awesome to me. So did we get it? Yes, we did. Okay. So we would have hit right here. Unfortunately, they had a change of heart and decided to make a schematic here and come lower. But this is actually funny because I remember this last week because this got a lot of people screwed. You could have definitely gotten in here perfectly, like I marked up. Like, what's my drawdown? 1 pip, 2 pips, nothing. Came up here, and look what happened. I guarantee you, half of the people that learn smart money would say that is an order block that led to this high. So I'm going to try to look for an entry for a buy over here. I have several snipers that did this. What did we do? What did Ryan say? Disrespect this. What did I say? 10 out of 10.
Come back and sell.
That is still in drawdown. We come back, touch twice, aka what's it called? Breaker model. Form a W and die. You know, the proof is in the pudding, kind of thing. All right, that's CJ. That's that good. That good for you? Top down. So yeah. So like I said, for me, that would be an amazing entry. If we break the high, I'll be looking in here or in here, just under it. But the fact that, you know, I don't trade EJ much because it's choppy mass. I don't like choppy mass. What would your style of entry be on the disrespected order blocks that get returned to? So let me draw this for you. Okay, so let's say you go here, you go here, you go here, and then you have the order block here. So you want to try to get in. So it does this, but it breaks it, right? Most people would say, okay, there's an order block right there. So I want to wait for it to retrace all the way here and sell from there once we broke structure, right? So this is what we call a source model, right? Because it goes back to the source, distribution, divergence, whatever, right? But a lot of times it doesn't do that. It just comes back to this order block that got disrespected. Don't get in here. All I do is wait for the second touch. The second touch can be lower or it can be higher, but it's a second touch nevertheless. Here, and then it comes lower. How do you get in on second touch, Yuri? Order flow shift on a smaller time frame. Rinse and repeat. All right, cool.
It's just like that. If I would have waited for the top on the UCAD sell, I would have never got in because it never made it. It just went to the order block. And so, you know, if you got destroyed, chances are you're probably going up to the source, but it will have some kind of reaction though. It always will.
Now, a lot of times market will do this, what I drew, and then say, well, Yuri cherry picked an example or something and just do this. When that happens, I employ a strategy of I never lose, which Ryan really likes in the
I love
last
it.
2 months.
In the what?
The
Like, when did we do
strategy is
that?
very
3 months
simple.
ago?
Yep. The strategy is very simple. Instead of putting your whole position, whatever it may be, 10 lots, you're putting 10 lots, 3 pips, stop loss, whatever. What you do is you divide it by 2. So now you have 5 lots. If you're unsure, especially in places like this, right? Not here, but especially in places like this, when you're unsure if it's gonna go sorry, no, I drew the wrong thing. Sorry. Places like this, right? If you're unsure, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 2 orders, 5 lots. The first 5 lots, though, you're gonna just simply go for 1 to 2. That's all. 1, 2, 2. And the second one, you're just gonna leave the stop loss where it's at. Worst case scenario, it will give you a reaction every time. Worst case scenario, you're gonna get your 1 to 2, and then it's gonna clap your 1. So you still got 1 to 1 victory. So every loss is a 1 to 1.
Another thing
It
that
is a
lets you
1 to 1 win.
do is just be patient and let it go to your take profit rather than freaking out, moving it to your stop loss to break even, and then you get out and then all of a sudden the next thing you know, it crashes all the way down to your
So how many times we do this
take
where, I
profit.
mean, unless you follow Mike, he doesn't even take out until it like breaks the next structure. But how many times you're like unsure and you put stop loss and profit and it goes, hits exactly your stop loss. Maybe it's like this, and then goes all the way up again. A lot of times. So that will avoid that type of stuff too. And the worst case scenario, hey, you're gonna lose one of them, you're gonna win the other one, and you're still gonna win even when you lose. So that's what you do when you're unsure, but you still want to trade there.
And another good thing about that too is when you find those areas of interest,
Sure.
sometimes you don't get a full move and you just get a 1 to 2, and maybe you're just too early. And then it just basically forms your schematic you're looking for. And then you can get in again, but you still guaranteed yourself 1%. So it's like I'd say a lot of time, even if you're early, you're wrong, right? But that allows you to get in those trades and not miss opportunities.
I have no idea what is marked up here. I absolutely have no clue. All right, cool. Let's go AJ real fast, and then anything else you guys want. So AJ still maintains bullishness, right? Bullish, bullish, and nothing, right? So we don't know what this is. All we know is that is maintaining bullishness. Right? This technically perfectly mitigated out of this last order block, but we so far failed to break this high. Once again, do not try to sell in here. Well, didn't we break structure over here? What is this? That's not a break of structure, dude. That's not a break of structure. Even that wouldn't be a break of structure. It's a bunch of shenanigans. It's a range. It's all booths, right? We want this to be broken. Actually, we want this to be broken, but at the very least, if it breaks this, I would do the extreme house entry from here, right? So until this low or this high gets broken, we are simply ranging. And because the last thing was mitigation with accumulation from here, I would say we are bullish, and it would be freaking amazing if we can get, here's the good example for you guys. Last candle that gets engulfed with imbalance. Right there, that little white little red riding hood right there. Right, this little white doji here that gets engulfed. Right, this is on 4-hour, obviously. I mean, can do. And then there's all this liquidity to me. is here, built right before it, right? So this to me, again, this is resistance. So this is the stop loss trap here. So if I'm looking for some kind of, like, first of all, I'm only looking for buys, but if I were to be more aggressive and try to find a reaction, it would be out of here, because most likely this is some kind of distribution right in there. Right, this is some kind of distribution right in there. So this area there is really good for a sell. But until we reach that point, I must still be bullish. I must still be bullish because we didn't break this high. We can't really get in anywhere here, and you need to wait for this 8280 level that I just marked up out there in the perfect order block on 4-hour. Now you just got to refine it. And look, this is how good you got to get. Ooh, look at that. You see that doji, don't you? Could it be? I'm totally putting a house over here. So one house is here. The other one is probably over here. But one is over here. I do love my confluence. I do love me some confluence. If it's even on a 15-minute. No, it's not. This one is, though. This 8250 is. Nope. Clean there. But still probable because accumulation area. But this one below it is much better because it still stays there, and then there's the extreme is all the way at the bottom here as well. So there's some areas to get into. Again, your best friend is going to be the order flow, but no business here. No business here. There's no reason to get in anywhere here. If we do break this bullish thing, then your entry should be either in this candle, this large volume candle here, or if you get a schematic or confirmation in here, then it should be at supply and demand. Right. So for this entry, you need, or either or, for this entry or this entry, you need that to be broken. If that is not broken, the entry is here or here. The target is that. And then this is what I like the best is when you're not sure, when we consolidating for a long time and you were able to get into this, then you can definitely hedge from here. Another trick. All right, so what did we not look at? GJ. I already said GJ is tricky. You could have easily gotten in this perfect area. I think someone got in from Aporia group. Once again, for those who still don't believe, what is this? The last candle that gets engulfed with imbalance. Is it the same color? Yes, it is. Well, have a look. Oh, what? No. Nice. Accumulation. Accumulation. It's the last test. Friday perfectly comes in there. Yeah. So once again, GJ is still bullish. And this is what I call an FU for smart money traders. I've seen this already, I think even on GJ at least 3 times, where it does this thing where you think this is STB, for those Wyckoff traders of you. I don't know why my keyboard's not working. STB. And then for STB, you know the rules. You need to break the range. And we break the range and everybody's like, I'm going to get in right here. And then it does this FU, which is in reality a spring. I can't spell spring. A spring. For a spring, we need an internal structure to be broken, which is this, maybe this, at least this, but I would rather you break that. So because right now we're still not breaking even internal structure, you can't get in. If this right here gets broken, find the last candle that got engulfed by imbalance. And you can see that this area still remains the same. It's this candle right here, this white candle. Here's some confluence for you. It's the exact point that the last liquidity was taken in this candle. So this white candle got engulfed by this white candle, but it's in the same place where this last point of liquidity is. So that's 149.23, 149.08. You need to obviously zoom in smaller to get a better precise entry, but even that by everyone's standards, okay. First though, we need to break that at least, or maybe even that. So that's your GJ analysis, because we are still bullish. We are still bullish. I didn't look at indexes at all, so I don't know what's going on there. What's up with the indices? I thought you didn't have spring if still and what? Andre, can you rephrase your question? J10 Fig Trader. 10 Fig? Holy crap! This got a trillionaire over here. Well, not trillionaire. It's got tens of billions. Damn. Can I get your phone number? All right. Yeah. What is this? GJ? Yeah, that's what I just said. So, yeah, if you had STB with BOS, then what? No, you see, it's still a spring. It is still a spring. No, you can still have a spring. What's a spring? Right? They figured out, because what they have is advantage over us, right? They can see where the orders, when lots of stop losses, lots of orders are sitting, right? If most of the time they would shake out everything and there's no need to come back, because so this is what happens, right? You have the STB 9 out of 10 times when you have an STB and a break out of the range, it's not going to come back into the range anymore. It's going to bounce of the supply and demand area, form this small schematic, the BU, the backup, to the last point of support, right? And then take off in the fractal accumulation. But if it does come back in that deep, you bet your ass there's going to be a spring, because they basically saying, oh, there's more people that we didn't shake out. There's more buyers. We need to acquire those buys for ourselves. So in GJ, what were you saying? Okay, 30 minutes. GJ. All right. I don't know about that, fam, dude. I don't think this is automatic rally and SD. Um, I mean,
What's the ball?
it's possible, but to me, until you break that thing that you marked up, we are still very bearish.
It'd be interesting to see what
And
the volume looks like too.
that automatic rally is too small, kind of. Like if you look at the redistribution schematics and you flip this, like if you flip this here, let's look it up. I'll show you why I don't like it. Why I don't like it. If I flip this, what's it look like to you? All right, that's your UT. Doesn't break the range and then just starts doing that. Like, and one or two things happen. It could still do what you said, because that's what happened on gold. Sometimes it does the fake up move, then the shakeout, then the jump. I hate when that happens, but that happens. But like to me, I would honestly, I would watch this. Jesus, I would watch this. You see this little knuckle? So I'd watch that, especially since it's sitting right above this wick. Or if I flip this, it's actually right above. Right, this is what it looks like. So to me, this looks like just a still until we yeah, I mean, like I
Yeah, it's
said, I'm
also
still bullish on this, but it's very elusive kind of thing. Like I want to see a true signal of strength, right? I don't see a signal of strength here. That's what my problem is. I need to see a signal of strength. I'm not trading GJ because of that, because I'm not confident in this spike off. But you drew on like 30 minutes. To me, that's too little, right? The Wyckoff needs to develop, and to me, it needs to be in a range playing with the lows and then show a signal of strength in order to do it. It doesn't matter if it's doing this or if it's doing this. But when it super fast, does this like super fast, that's not enough. Like that is way too fast. Like look at any schematic, you see the phase B is like usually this long, and then you got the small shakeout and thing like this, right? Where you had everything like in super fast, that on a 30-minute, a schematic should probably take, I don't know, like well, it did kind of take a day. It probably take 2 days. I don't know. It's just, to me, this is too fast is what the problem is. And we're not really breaking the range we're not showing strength to the upside right now yet. And that's my biggest problem with it. So knowing how tricky they can be, like I wouldn't be surprised if they either come lower to like the bottom of this extreme here, or even come to like this wick here, cause and like go into this wick here. Like I wouldn't be surprised, but because I'm not confident in this, to me, this is not a best setup. For me, the best setup this week is GA, as I said. GA, GU, and EU are the things that I'm looking at. Right, we've been over those. That was the first pair that we went through. For gold, I am bullish until my house, which is sitting at the extreme over here, way the hell up there. That's where I'm looking for gold. So just any chance you get, look for a buy is what I gotta say with gold. For now, right? Because I think there is so much demand in this area here. There's so much demand here that they simply don't have enough juice. They need to get some gas over here. Once they get some gas, they're going to, and the gas comes from this supply and demand area. Once they grab all this gas and mitigate out of extreme of the previous position, right? So this is gas here. A ton of gas over here. Once they fill up their car, come over here, then they could crank it below to the 1500 level. That's just my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know, I can be completely wrong, but that's what I'm saying. Take it with a grain of salt. That's what I see. I see we reaccumulate it, and we, you know, it'd be nice if we can come lower to the 1740 area over here, but just take it one day at a time, see what Asia does, see what London does. Right now, we're ranging as we've been. So like no trade for me anywhere for gold until we get down. Like this is a good area right here. This is an amazing area right here. This is that supply and demand. So I like, again, remember, gold likes extremes. So when I see things like this, the last candle getting engulfed in the balance right here, this little thingy, when I see that, when I see this, that to me is money, because I know gold loves extremes and takes out everything in the middle always. This to me right here, all of this previous stuff is all clean now. So there's no trades in here. So my next trade on buy on gold is at 1748, somewhere in this area. There's no imbalance here, so I don't like it, but there's support resistance, and I could probably find imbalances on 5 minutes. Okay, I need to mark that up because so like 1750 area is where it would be probably nice to buy gold. Currently, it's just looking like a very, very stretched out distribution starting to happen. So yeah, we're in the middle of everything. So I don't have a gold trade until tomorrow morning. I want to see what London does, and most likely will come to right here, right here. I mean, look at how clean this, look at how clean this last candle here. Getting gold by imbalance right here. Perfect. There's this knuckle here that everybody sees. Everybody gonna start be like, imbalance. I'm gonna get in here. This is a perfect trap. And it'll just come right underneath because it's gold. Or right underneath here. And this would be good. Or it might say all of this is liquidity. I'm just gonna go and come down all the way to like here. Possible as well. But there's so much trading going on in this area that I don't think you can just die through everything. It'd be.
It's gonna cost him a ton of lots to get through there because look at how long it's been trading.
Yeah. This range, there's so much demand here. This is another reaccumulation area. So I would say, and this is slingshot, so you probably want to see a schematic here, but what you're probably gonna see is like a wick into here. Either into here or into here. There's just a ton of money sitting here. So they will take one level of liquidity, 2 levels of liquidity, and most likely come in here or in here. That's where I'll be looking for gold tomorrow morning, because I'm sure London will do some funny stuff.
It's kind of like it's kind of like if it comes down to the area and it kind of acts like it's allergic to it, so it tips and goes up. It's probably ready to mitigate. And you're going to stay bullish. But if it starts bouncing around there and hanging out for a while, it's probably building up some juice to break through.
J Law is talking about GBP CHF on what time frame?
It looked just like
It's a
GJ.
132. It's a little over 2. It's like 2 hours and 12 minutes, man. What's 132? Ooh. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not sure I like it. Man, we're so bearish on the freaking 1 hour. Okay. It's very possible. Yeah. It's possible. I never trade GBP CHF in my life, so with gold, I am like 100% confident with this. Okay. I may find some, see if I can find some confluence. Man, they're just. What is that, Ryan?
I have no idea. I was trying to figure it out. We did have a squirrel in the ceiling. We did have a squirrel in the ceiling like last week, but that's too big.
That could be it. Yeah, I like the 50% of it. I do. That's about 9 pips or more than like. Yeah, try it. I can't say for sure. We definitely, like if this is accumulation and we definitely broke structure. So this is a spring. Here's your, test, boom, and we just came into the spring again. It's very possible. Let me look here. Yeah, this too. Oh yeah, this could be good. Again, for me, the only way I would get into something I'm not 100% on is order flow shift, but you can definitely put a pending on this in the middle. But I would just watch this price here. On 5 minute. Oh my God, chop, 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 chop. Certainly does look like a creek. Certainly does look like a trap. So yeah, I like your markup. I really do. This is good. Most people will try to get in over here. They're gonna get smoked. Try to get into Asian range. Very possible that London will just go right on the previous London into here. Perfect. Yeah, 126.38. I would get in there. J loss. Very good. Very good.
And I like that area too, because if your stop loss gets smoked right there, it's basically kind of like the setup we've been talking about all day. I mean, it's gonna go through because it's gonna take a lot of juice, and then you just pull back to the area and take the sell. So you took a loss into a win. But if you're on the right side of the trade, you could probably stack entries because you also obviously have targets to the upside.
This is the most random time frames ever. I like that. That's so cool.
You
151
just,
minutes.
well, you're just going to start using 111 exclusively and 11.
I should. I should. Actually, I need to. Well, I do have 11. I don't
I know
have
you do.
111. I should start doing that. That's
It's
my
just every
number.
2 hours.
NZDJPY. Careful, my friend. Careful. So with NZDJPY, I do not like it. And the reason I don't like it is as opposed to AJ, NJ broke this and that and everything. So to me, we're right now bearish on NJ.
There's extreme up there.
Of course. Daily is still bullish, obviously. So daily is still bullish. But do you see where my markup is here? 70. I've done it before, I guess. 75.94. This last order block here. Where was the entry? Now I forgot. 150, 76.80. 70, 70. No, definitely not. For me, that's a no. This one is a no because for me, like look at even 4 hour, that is what maintains bearishness. And this is all fuzz. So like to me, my entry is a sell over here. Over here is my sell entry. And for a buy, like that would be counter trend trading. So I wouldn't be looking for a buy, to be honest. But even if I was looking for a buy, it would be in this accumulation area right here. I would definitely not be buying from here. Because look, this is the retail support area. And this is actually, I'm almost not like, you can consider this as a slingshot candle that broke this. You could, but then you need a schematic over here on a smaller time frame, right? So this is, yeah, definitely not for me. So because the structure to me is the most important, way more important than Wyckoff, I would either be looking for a buy over here and I would need a schematic as well from here, but I'm actually bearish on NJ, contrary to popular belief. So just to put things in perspective, you see this divergence. Speaking of people that don't know how to trade divergence, this was a sell of the century for NJ. You can see how they're different, right? We're both going up, but this one's making a higher high. This one's making a lower high. This is like a trade made in heaven. This is easy, amazing, and good. And as opposed to this, maintaining bullishness, this ain't maintaining shit. I got destroyed. So now this is maintaining bearishness. So I'm not looking for a buy until this gets broken. Yeah, makes sense.
I would not either. I concur,
Oh,
sir.
I know it requires, that's why I pick my pairs. So literally, this is what I do is I before I trade on Sunday, I'll look over every pair, all divergences on the higher time frames. Then I'll look for best setups. And for me, from what I look today, GA, GU, AU, and I always trade gold. So these four plus maybe Euro USD is the only things I'm looking at. And Euro USD is not really where I need it to be for my buy. Not here, not here, is just far away. So, but I'm looking to trade just these four this week. And that's, like I just traded GA. I might just stick with one pair. Like, you understand, guys? Like, once you know the perfect setup, why the hell would you trade anything else? I can annihilate any challenge with one trade and then add on with one pair, right? Like, if you know where you are in the market, just stay with it. Just keep with price action. Now, if you're like Mike, who's like 1,000 million pips in gold, uh, then you can hold it for longer and look for something else. All right, last pair we're gonna do CAD JPY. I'm getting tired. CAD JPY, CAD JPY, CAD JPY. All right, CAD JPY. I like to do this. My facts book. CAD JPY. What is the crowd doing? Can somebody tell me? 86% of people are selling CAD JPY. Gee, I wonder what's it gonna do. Bye, 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 bye. Now it is bearish. Great, we know that, right? It's even 4 hour. Yeah, we have changed the order flow, but why are people selling right now? Now, I don't know when this thing is getting updated, but I would imagine people were selling because of this. I would also imagine people be selling because of this. And I would imagine that I am not going to sell until we go over here. Any questions? We can all adjourn. So yeah, to me, look, high, that create the low. We're at 61.8. Why are people selling? Because everybody thinks 61.8 is the shit. Yeah, so I don't think it's gonna, I think it's gonna go at least to like over there, to this distribution. So to me, again, structure wise, this is what maintains bearishness. And to be honest, this would be insane. Who can tell me what is the extreme on here? On this 4 hour?
Could be a ton of pips.
Nobody? Can somebody tell me the extreme? Is that little thing over there? Oh, that is some crazy. This is on 4 hour 6 pip thing.
That's 6 pips. So
6 pips
basically
in
it's
4
gonna
hours.
be like at least a 50 to 1 easy.
50 to 1. What are you talking, man? What?
Well, you don't know what structure's gonna look like after that happens.
Let's test your theory.
If it goes the whole way, sure. Let's see, what do we got?
I was just curious.
Oh,
you were almost precise, man. 45 and a half.
There you go.
But that's just to hear. It's gonna make a lower low, so you know it's gonna be.
There's gonna be a lot of information after
that. That is the extreme that you can put a house on. But at the very least, we want to grab this high that is super obvious high for everyone to put their stop losses right here. Right? Everyone, remember, institutions don't give a crap about me and you. We are collateral damage. They care about hedge funds. Right? Hedge funds have the money to sell at resistance on the daily and put their stop loss about the swing high. They trade the same way. Right? And so this is where the money is. This is where the imbalance is. This is where the imbalance is. This is what distribution is. So of course, price action will show, but you would need a schematic from this slingshot candle in that yellow square, which is here. So you either get a schematic in this area on CAD JPY, or if it doesn't give you a schematic, you want to sell out of extreme over there. That's actually a really good extreme. I might just put it there. I mean, we're ways away. We're still like 100 pips away, and CAD JPY, I don't know, again, CAD JPY, but I think that will take at least a week to get there. But this could be an amazing trade that might play out because we have shifted the structure at least on 1 hour and on 4 hours as well. Daily was still bullish, but this looks good. This looks really good. So yep. So once again, right now for this week, I'll be looking for a buy, and the best buy that I see, best buy, yay, best buy that I see is right here. I like that.
It's funny because I heard it and I was like,
yeah. Okay. So that is your buy in this area, and you can get fancy with it if you want. Get fancy. Actually, yeah, right there. 8610, 860, so 10 pips. Right there is where I would look for a buy. Of course, it could come to a breaker and come back, but then again, you need a W or something. Like, I don't see that happening. This is all liquidity to me, so maybe this is your POI, and then this should be your buy entry if it decides to come back. Because another thing that could happen is if your creek on a large time frame is this, and this was a jump, it might just come back to the creek. Remember the example again. People that don't understand structure, they would think this is where the cells are, and this gets disrespected. So if the market decides to come back here, have a reaction, watch for that second touch because it could do this. But other than that, I'd be looking for here for a buy if the market decides to give us that. It could just consolidate here and keep going up. So that's why I don't trade right now or London. I want to see what happens. But this could be a really good setup, CAD JPY. All right, brothers, sisters, thank you all for attending. If you got any value, type some ones. We will see you on Monday. Actually, for those of you who know who John Fibonacci is, ask him enter this Thursday at I think 6 p.m. Sorry, LA. Just reach out to me directly for that question. Thanks all for participating. I love you guys. I'll see you next Monday.
Thanks for everybody who's on YouTube as well.
Thank you for YouTube guys.